Hey everyone, it's Jana from Ballerinas by Night. Today's video is the corrections I've gotten from the months of June and July. If you haven't seen these videos yet, this is a series I'm doing this year where every month I'm sharing some or all of the corrections that I've been given in class, and sometimes I'm doing it by month, and sometimes I'm kind of pairing them up 2 months at once just due to like scheduling and stuff. So anyway, let's get into the corrections from June and July. Okay, this first one is something that I feel like I should have known for a very long time, but it just now sort of figured it out. At the bar we were doing a combination with temps, and I've always like just kind of gone through them, like I always kind of lean forward on my front leg, my back leg, but you plie in your proper fourth position before moving forward. So the correct thing to do is to go fourth and then up, fourth and then up, which makes so much more sense because if you can hit your fourth and get your proper plie, and when you straighten up you're stable, versus trying to go forward and you don't really know, where your hips are going to be. So yeah, that's a great one. Okay, so the second one is like another just like good basic reminder for placement. This is something that I think I've really given into over the past year or so, and so it was very good to hear this as a good reminder. I think especially on my left side, I'm sinking into my supporting leg side quite a bit, like I'm getting kind of lazy, kind of sitting in that hip pocket, instead of staying really lifted up and out of it. We were told to imagine that our supporting leg is like one of the sticks that you put in the ground if you're going to have like a tomato plant or something, and the plant's going to wrap around the stick in the ground and it's supporting the plant. So yeah, to think about like that supporting leg being just like firmly into the ground. And I think for me especially, it's when I'm coming in from my tendus that I tend to like do that bit, like Abby was talking about before, instead of like staying really lifted. Like I feel like when you come in from the tendu, this has to go up even more to make room for it. I don't know how well I'm like demonstrating that because I'm not really warmed up, it's really hard on my left side. My left side is a mess, you guys. But yeah, just on your supporting leg, think about that rotation happening up in your thigh, staying with the weight in the majority of the ball of your foot, but keeping your heel on the ground. So while that's happening, your leg just keeps like lifting up and up and up, and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping, so you can bring things in, hopefully, and there's enough room. Just think about that while you're at the bar, while you're in center. Of course, it applies to every second of class. Okay, this next correction is also another oldie but a goodie. It's a classic correction to remember. When you're doing a balance at the bar, it's your time to test your balance. It's the time to test how centered you are or not. So if you're given a balance to do, just let go. And I think a lot of times you stay more balanced because you're not overthinking it. And also, if you do fall out of balance, then you immediately know which direction you're, like, where you're off balance, because you're either going to fall forward or backward or sideways or whatever it is. And by the way, that balance, what? So yeah, as soon as you do a balance, just like let go of the bar, and if you fall out of it, like it's okay. That's the whole point of it, right? I think that we get really hung up on everything needing to be perfect, so we like wait to hold the balance because we're like, oh, I gotta find it, gotta find it, gotta find it. But if you just let go immediately, you can figure out where the problem is and then try it again. And then you're utilizing that 8 counts or whatever it is to your advantage, instead of just holding on for 4 counts, 6 counts, 7, 8, you know what I mean? So try that. Try it in your next class. When you get your balance, just let go and see what happens. Okay, and speaking of balances, we were just at the bar, we just did a balance in second on releve. And I was like struggling, because this is hard anyway, But I was like that basically, and our teacher came over and had me demonstrate how to fix that. It was very simple. So if you're doing your balance in second, just think about where your arms are placed in terms of your counterbalance. So if I'm balancing in second and my arms are way back here, I'm going to tend to go back here or whichever side I'm pulling my weight more. All you have to do is shift your arms forward. Like, my teacher came over and had me hold his hands, so I was literally like this versus this. And I was like holding his hands like this, and then he said just let go and just move your hands. I went like that, and it was like I held it. So we'll try again, and we keep our arms more forward. We let go. And that was a heck of a lot better than the first time around. So that's like a really simple thing. Just when you're balancing in second, make sure your arms aren't like way the heck back here. Keep them more forward, which, you know, where they should be anyway. They shouldn't be back here. But, you know, our bodies don't want to maintain placement on their own. You have to keep telling them, reminding them what's correct. So it's easy for things to kind of get out of whack, and you need a little reminder here and there. So good tip for balancing in second. Okay, one last correction for bar kind of stuff. Going from attitude to arabesque. My attitude placement right now is just so sad, so please just forgive what you're about to watch. Again, this is another like basic reminder. If you're in attitude and you're gonna go into arabesque, just from the knee down should move. What I'm saying is, like, if you're here, you don't want to go and da-da-da-da. You just want to like elongate through the knee down versus lifting the hip more. And also, that's going to pair well with the correction I just got like last week, which will be in August corrections. But when you're doing that and you elongate that, and then you can rise the leg, because I was like, we're talking developpe now, but I was kind of like going like that and then like lowering my leg instead of going lower and raising it, just like you would if you were gonna pique up into an arabesque. You don't want to pique up at your highest point and then lower your leg. That doesn't look good. So I hope I'm demonstrating that all right. I'm kind of working on it still. So, but yeah, mostly from the attitude to arabesque. Think about from the knee to the foot being the extension. Okay, I like one more thing at the bar. Grand battement in second, that nasty second position. It's so easy to lift your hip going into this. I am not warmed up enough to show you a full grand battement, so I'll just do kind of like a bigger dégagé. But you definitely want to keep your hip down. So none of like this, that might be exaggerating a little, but definitely keep the hip down versus up like that. While this can be more comfortable and I'm exaggerating, it's incorrect. And ultimately you won't be able to get the height that you want because your hip can only let you move so much. So yeah, I have a tendency to just like lift, even if it's just like slightly, just like lift it enough to help me up. Come on. Need more muscles, I guess. So yeah, just watch your hip in your grand battements in second, and if you need to take them lower to work on that, like, that's totally fine. So to avoid the hip thing, think more about your foot is like going underneath the floor and then up instead of it brushing along the top of the floor. Think about it like, I'm gonna switch sides here. Think about it like digging into the floor, like this foot is just like pressing, and then versus thinking about the top of the battement. Think about like the down and up sensation, and don't think about the top. Think about below. Hopefully I've showed that correctly. I really hope so, but yeah. Hips stable, brush underneath the floor to get your height. Okay, for center stuff, I just have a couple. We're doing this like nasty adagio combination the other week, where we were doing retiré promenades. It was a really good test of the core. So I can't remember how we got into it. Maybe it was I don't know if we just went plie, retiré or not. But in order to do this and not fall out of it, there's a lot of factors, I guess, but a lot of it is to keep this foot connected to the knee as you're going. Because if it gets disconnected or you start thinking about it, if you start thinking about this and it comes off, it's easy to lose your weight the other way. But if you think about the toe staying connected to the knee, it kind of makes you more centered. So I'll see if I can show you. Again, not warmed up, I'm just trying. I'm gonna try this other side. Whew. Alright, halfway around. The other key to that, I find, is thinking about your core doing that like scooping up sensation like this, and keeping your weight more, your torso weight more forward, because you don't want to be back here because you can't save it if you're back there. But if you keep your weight more forward, up and forward, you can maintain that a lot better than if you're like thinking about your back. Okay, this one was kind of mentioned earlier when I was talking about going from attitude to arabesque. If you're doing a pique arabesque in the center of the room, especially if you're doing like a slower combination, it's like feels really pretty. It can be really easy to just kind of like, you know, take your time to get there. But if you take your time, then you don't really get your placement there immediately. So the way to like find your placement immediately but make it look kind of flowy and long or whatever is to like get there and then grow the leg taller. You can make the arms even bigger. So I say all this and we'll see if I can even show you. But so basically you want to like get there and then grow. Let's try again. So I don't know how much I grew, but finding the placement right from the get-go is better than like trying to find it like that. That's crappy. I don't know if I'm trying that very well, but I mean, even on flat, if I were to just be like, get there and grow, that's a good way to like practice your placement. That's what's happening. I'm like, where the heck over here? Man, okay. So, let's try down on releve again. That's a little better. For not warming up, it's not too bad. So, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. Okay, one last correction. We were doing like a really fast waltz turn across the floor at the end of class one time. And I found that it was hard to maintain the momentum getting the very beginning of the waltz. Like this thing that you usually like to just kind of milk. You're just like da da da. But if it's a really quick combination, you don't really have time to like sit back there and enjoy that. You gotta go. So if it's a really fast waltz turn, think about that first brush taking you somewhere. So instead of it being like waltz 2, 3, turn 2, 3, it's gonna be more like waltz 2, 3. So yeah, you're using the brush as momentum to keep you moving forward, because if that slows you down and the rest of the combination is fast, it'll be so much harder to catch back up with the rest of it, making up for like the lag of that, especially when you're turning around. It can be really easy for this to slow you down too. So make sure that first like brush really gets you going. So, all right, that is all for June and July corrections. Let me know if any of these have helped you. Let me know if you have any questions about any of them. Again, I'm not fully warmed up, so I apologize that I'm probably not demonstrating everything to the best of my ability. But you know, I have an hour to film a video and I'd rather get it done than not have this information to share with you guys. So please give the video a thumbs up if you do like it. I will continue to do this series through the end of the year, and then I'll kind of see how you guys feel, if you want me to keep going with it or maybe kind of rework the structure of it or something. If you haven't watched Abby's most recent video, she finally filmed her post-pregnancy dancing story. A lot of you guys have been asking her about getting back into ballet after having a baby or babies, and so she filmed a video talking about her experience and her challenges and what kind of went on with that process. So super great video. Make sure you go check that out. And you can also follow us on our social media on Facebook and Instagram, where we share other stuff besides just these videos. And also on our blog, you can subscribe to our blog, which is ballerinasbynight.blogspot.com. We're working to add more content on there as well that's separate from the videos. We've got a lot of cool changes, positive stuff happening, so really excited about that, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!